Duplication on demand. Organizing a production area and managing the workflow process.
A growing number of network libraries are implementing the Gutenberg Duplication on Demand system for its numerous benefits to library staff and patrons. In this video, I will describe several different approaches to organizing a duplication on demand production area and to managing the workflow for processing orders received by the Gutenberg appliance. For library staff members, the duplication on demand circulation model significantly reduces the time needed to fulfill patron orders. With duplication on demand, it's no longer necessary to retrieve books from the shelf or to reshelve them when they're returned, thus reducing or eliminating the labor required to stock, inventory, and recycle cartridges and containers. And because duplication on demand allows for multiple titles to be put on a single cartridge, the total number of cartridges that have to be handled can be drastically reduced. For patrons, the benefits include immediate availability of titles as they are added to the collection. They can have more books at one time while having fewer cartridges and containers to keep track of. And there's no more waiting for popular titles. Any title in the NLS digital collection can be duplicated and sent out immediately, including barred-only titles. In short, adopting a duplication on demand, or DoD, circulation model provides more titles more quickly for patrons with a reduced workload for network libraries. NLS network libraries have set up DoD workstations and workflow processes based on what works best for them. Let's review a couple of examples, starting with the Kentucky Talking Book Library. Kentucky Talking Book Library. The Kentucky Talking Book Library was one of the 6 libraries who signed on to the Duplication on Demand pilot in the summer of 2017. The library began by circulating audio materials to newly registered patrons using duplication on demand, as those patrons were not already familiar with traditional circulation. Additionally, the Kentucky Library contacted and discussed the benefits of DoD with some of its more avid readers to add to the number of patrons receiving service using this method at the startup, bringing the number of patrons served by DoD as the sole means of circulation up to 20%. Currently, Kentucky serves 100% of its audio patrons through duplication on demand. The library set up the duplication on demand workstation on a desk with a printer on a nearby table. Extra blank cartridges are stored in a desk drawer, and extra containers are stacked on the shelf behind the workstation. When the cartridges return to the library after being circulated, a staff member checks them in using the DoD In scanner. The returned cartridges are then ready for reuse. To begin duplication, cartridges are inserted into the slots on the Gutenberg cartridge duplicator, where they are reformatted and loaded with new duplication orders. When duplication is complete, the staff member removes each cartridge and scans the barcode using the DoD Out scanner. This initiates printing of a mailing card that includes the patron's address and a manifest of titles contained on the cartridge. While the card is printing, the staff member places the cartridge in a mailing container. The printed card is then folded in half along the perforation and inserted into the container. This process is repeated, one cartridge at a time, to ensure that the proper mailing card goes with each cartridge until all orders for the day are filled. Virginia Library and Resource Center. The Virginia Regional Library is also one of the 6 libraries who signed on to the Duplication on Demand pilot in the summer of 2017. A library of a larger size, circulating close to 260,000 audio titles in fiscal year 2017, Virginia set up its Duplication on Demand workstation on the far right side of a long table with blank cartridges on the left and the DoD printer on the right. Currently, the Virginia Regional Library serves 100% of its audio patrons through Duplication on Demand. When cartridges are returned to the library after being circulated, they are removed from the containers and brought to the DoD workstation. A library staff member checks them in using the DoD In scanner and adds them to a bin of cartridges ready for reuse. These cartridges are then loaded into the slots on the duplication fixture, and the Gutenberg system begins to duplicate new orders automatically. Once the duplication process is complete, a library staff member removes the cartridges and places them in a bin labeled Downloaded. Additional cartridges are loaded into the duplication fixture until all orders for the day are fulfilled. After all the orders have been duplicated, the staff member pulls cartridges from the downloaded bin and begins scanning the barcodes with the DoD Out scanner and lining them up on the table in the order they were scanned. This is a productive way of printing the mail cards, but requires careful coordination to ensure that each cartridge is properly paired with its corresponding mail card. When a batch of 15 has been scanned, the mailing cards are pulled from the printer and carefully paired with the appropriate cartridge. An additional staff member inserts the cartridges and mailing cards into mailing containers, while the next batch of 15 cartridges is scanned. Carnegie Library of Pittsburgh. The Carnegie Library of Pittsburgh signed on to Duplication on Demand late in the summer of 2018. Since this library circulates more than 700,000 audio titles a year, serving audio readers in the entire state of Pennsylvania, NLS issued 2 Gutenberg workstations, each of which can duplicate 20 cartridges at a time. Currently, the Carnegie Library of Pittsburgh is working toward the goal of serving 100% of its audio patrons through Duplication on Demand. The Gutenberg stations are set up on adjacent desks with a table in the center that holds one set of duplication fixtures and blank cartridges. Both stations share one set of in and out scanners and a single printer. As return cartridges come in, a staff member scans them with the DoD In scanner and begins loading them into available duplication slots. When the first 20 orders have been duplicated, the staff member removes all cartridges from the duplication fixtures, reloads the fixtures with 20 blank cartridges so orders can continue to be filled, and stacks the duplicated cartridges near the printer. The staff member then scans each duplicated cartridge, one at a time, with the DoD Out scanner, places the cartridge into a container, and inserts the mailing card into the container as it comes out of the printer. This process is repeated until all 20 cartridges have been checked out and are in containers with mailing cards inserted. Meanwhile, orders are also being duplicated to the 20 cartridges at the other Gutenberg workstation. When all 20 cartridges are ready, the staff member pulls them from the duplication fixture and takes them over to the printer. Each cartridge is scanned with the DoD Out scanner and placed into a mailing container. The label is inserted when it comes out of the printer. This process is repeated until all 20 cartridges have been checked out and are in containers with mailing cards. Additional DoD workstation setup examples. Access Services in Fairfax County. Access Services set up its Duplication on Demand system in a corner workstation. Blank cartridges are to the far left with the duplication fixtures next to them. The printer is on the far right, and extra containers are stored on a shelf above the workstation. North Dakota State Library. The regional library in North Dakota set up its Duplication on Demand system at a standing workstation with a printer to the left, the computer and monitor in the corner, and the duplication fixtures to the right. Extra cartridges and containers are stored on shelves below the counter and printer. In conclusion, there is a lot to think about when planning to transition audio circulation to duplication on demand. Many workflow options are available for implementation based on the number of audio readers and the amount of available resources in your library. The workflow arrangement examples presented here are intended to help guide the decision-making process for libraries adopting DoD. The Gutenberg system is designed to be flexible, scalable, and easily adaptable to many different situations. Each library can design an approach to suit its current needs and adapt it to changing needs over time. Implementing a duplication-on-demand circulation model is a cost-effective way to improve service to your patrons. Questions or concerns about setting up Gutenberg workstations and implementing a workflow should be directed to your network consultant, or contact the Network Division Office at NLS by emailing dodsupport@loc.gov, dodsupport@loc.gov.